Model United Nations, abbreviated as NTUTM before. Or you have heard of World Hmong Conference, co-hosted by NTU or Harvard University this March. The Pan Asia Hmong was hosted by NTU, and the Pan Asia Hmong was hosted by NTU Hmong in order to succeed the previous successful World Hmong experience to the junior members. And the date was from November 29th to December 2nd. But why was I a volunteer, not a delegate? The reason why I applied was because the fee paid for a delegate was expensive. And I wasn't a member of NTU Hmong, which means I knew nothing about the regulations or processes. Most important of all, I somehow found discussing social problems meaningless as a student. However, I still wanted to go and have a look. So I served as the so-called pages, who was the person to convey notes from delegate to delegate. That work was quite simple because my committee, IMF, was a small one consisting of 12 delegates only. And I'm going to share my humble observation and thoughts. But even an outlier like me can learn a lot. This was the place where the conference was held, the NTU International Convention Center, and that's my committee, IMF. First of all, in the conference, there were one chair and two co-chairs taking charge of the conference. When it was time to start the meeting, the chair would confirm the presentation of the delegates with a roll call. If the delegate was there, he or she would raise the placard and say present. Then all the delegates had to reach an agreement in the setting agenda session to decide which topic area to be put in the first place to discuss. In IMF committee, there were topic area A, the fight against money laundering and terrorist financing, and topic area B, fair and substantial contribution by the financial sectors. And after their debate, the vote on the motion that sets the topic. And the motion could pass if the simple majority was achieved. And simple majority means at least 50% of the delegates agree. And there were the chair and co-chairs. After that, the session general speakers list came. In this session, the chair would ask, is there any delegate wishing to be put on the general speakers list? Or the delegate could raise a motion for either a moderated caucus or an unmoderated caucus to discuss specific issues related to this topic. And the moderated caucus means the chair is in control, and the unmoderated caucus, unmoderated means free talking between delegates. And a caucus is a meeting of members or supporters of political party or a motion, especially in the United States. And there are the chair and co-chairs. And this was the delegate of the United States of America speaking. She preferred, and this picture shows they're raising placards to decide the topic area. They should put the topic area B in front of table topic A. topic area A. And that's what I have mentioned, the moderated caucus and unmoderated caucus. And in the general speakers list, there were some interesting things happened. They were discussing to what extent the government should interfere in the bank operation. And it was China speaking. He said, because China is a communism country, the government can do a lot of things when the bank makes more and more risky investment. And no bribes or corruption will occur. Even if there is any, we won't let you know. And because in general speakers list, the time could be yielded to chair or to another delegate. China said, yield my time to Cuba. And the delegate of Cuba stood on the stage and he said, Cuba doesn't have a bank system, but as a communism country, Cuba agrees with China. As for another important thing that Cuba would like to ask the delegate of China, will you give us financial support as you have promised this morning? The time could only be yielded for one time, so China waited for another chance to answer. China stood on stage and say, blah, 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 blah. And we've already given it to you. Don't be so greedy. That's one of the funny and interesting things during the meeting, even though it added nothing to the discussion. And they were having an unmoderated caucus, and during the time I had nothing to do. I could go and see the souvenirs, I could talk to other beautiful volunteers, I can visit other committees and take photos. After their 4-day discussion, they went through the final procedures of introduction of resolution, the introduction of amendments, and the closure of debate, and voting on the draft resolution, and motion for adjournment. And then the conference ended, and some consensus had been cultivated. And this was their draft resolution. As a volunteer, I also had some reflections. First, I changed up my mind that students could not come up with pragmatic and innovative solutions to social problems. Actually, we are imaginative and good. And second, I strengthened my previous perspective that to be a volunteer is a precious ticket to a wonderland where a lot of things have not been experienced. The last one is that it's my honor to come to NTU and to work with these dream workers. I should not idle away my life in university. Toastmasters of evening.